Hey y'all, welcome back. Crazy to see you here again. I'm Ashleigh and I'm here to simplify the transfer portal. What it is, how it works, and is it really ruining college sports? So let's get into it. Every year around this time, we see posts just like this all over social media with student athletes saying the famous words. With that being said, I'll be entering the transfer portal. But what does that really mean? So first of all, the transfer portal really is an internet web-based system called the transfer portal. It is not only a name, it is a thing. I feel like it can be very misconstrued that is kind of like one of those names or acronyms that mean something else. But it is a web-based system that student athletes are able to talk to other coaches if that is what they want. It was created in 2011 with the idea from Susan Peel, who works with the NCAA. She came up with this idea to not only make transferring student athletes to different schools more efficient, but to help the student athletes so they can have more control over where they go and in their future. Because before the transfer portal, student athletes had to ask permission from their coaches, and then their coaches said no, then they have to go to their athletic directors, then the dean of students, and then they had to go before a committee of their peers. And if the committee of peers decided they could transfer schools, it was a good thing, so they could transfer, but unfortunately they were not able to receive aid. And student athletes do not have the time to go work at McDonald's and practice 7 days a week. It's just not possible. One of the biggest misconceptions about the transfer portal is that it helps students in the waiver decisions and how fast they can play. They have absolutely nothing to do with each other, but if you want me to do a video on the NCAA waiver situation, let me know in the comments down below and I'll definitely do it. The transfer portal has no effect on when students can play and how fast they can play. It's just a system to help student athletes communicate with coaches from other schools in a faster, more efficient way so everything will be trackable. Student athletes have to write an official statement saying they want to enter the transfer portal, which is understandable because if they didn't, then everybody and their mom would be writing letters to the NCAA or the school admissions board to ask them, hey, I want to transfer because I'm mad about something random that happened this week. But once they write their official statement, the school has 2 business days to get them into the system. Once they're in the system, then the school gives them an email. They figure out their forms. They can choose either to have their information up there so coaches can see it, or they can choose not to have their information up there. Now, this was a big reasons why students really like the transfer portal, because before the transfer system was paper, you couldn't really track it, you couldn't really figure it out, and it was a long drawn out process. But what the transfer portal does, student athletes can have more control over where they go, who they talk to, because now that they are able to choose if they want their information public or private, coaches can't just call them at any given time like they were high school recruits. The only people who have availability to see who's in the transfer portal, who's trying to change schools, are that one student athlete and the coaches. Coaches are able to see every single student that's in there. They can see their name. Now, they, again, can't necessarily see their contact information. When the coaches are able to see who they are, they can choose the process of who they want to talk to and who they do. This also helps the coaches in not wasting their time on contacting athletes who are already at another school. Now, there is some downfalls in this system. Of course, when students enter the transfer portal, they're not necessarily guaranteed to go to the school they want to go to. They can go back to their original schools, but they're not guaranteed their student aid that they once had, and they're not even necessarily guaranteed a spot on the team because they're the one that decided to leave. So that coach can't just save their space, crossing their fingers and hoping they can come back. The short answer is no. More people just happen to be talking about transferring the transfer portal because it is so common, and now more student athletes feel like they can be able to choose and determine their careers with the transfer portal. But when you look at graphics just like this, you can see that yes, transfers have increased in Division I sports, but it was all before the transfer portal, which was created in 2018. And yes, there are people transferring from Division I programs, but over half of those people who are transferring from Division I programs are leaving Division I altogether. Some maybe don't feel like they can cut the cord, and that's okay. But to just blanketly say that college sports are being ruined by the transfer portal is just not necessary. These student athletes are taking control of their futures. They're not letting the NCAA, their coaches, or these big ticket programs decide their futures anymore, and I appreciate it. And that's the transfer portal simplified. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified every time I post a video, which is Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to leave a comment down below because over here we make sports talk simplified.